Our next speaker is Suguru Azegami, and Mr. Azegami is Director of Japan Post Bank's Private Equity Investment Department. He will be covering recent trends of asset owners in Japan and expectations for foreign managers in his speech today. Mr. Azegami?
Thank you for your introduction. Hi everyone, my name is Suguru Azegami. I work for the private equity team at Japan Post Bank. And today I'd like to talk about two things. So it's all about my personal view on opportunities in Japan for overseas private equity managers. And also I want to touch upon how overseas asset managers can help Japanese asset owners to develop their global investment activities. So before that, let me briefly introduce Japan Post Bank and my background. Japan Post Bank manages $2 trillion on its balance sheet, and our source of capital is Japanese people bank saving. And the company used to be a state-owned government agency, and it was privatized in 2007. And the company got listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange in 2015. So until then, the company used to be a passive investor, mainly investing in government bonds and corporate bonds. But the company took a big leap toward building more profitable portfolio by adding new asset classes, including alternative investment assets. So at our private equity team, we started our program since 2016. And it's now like 4 years since we started the program, and we invest in multiple strategies at our private equity team. We invest in buyout, venture capital, infrastructure, and some credit type of investments like mezzanine and distressed. And some unique feature about the company is that although the company has a bank in its name, we are not a commercial bank because we do not do the commercial lending business. So at the time of privatization, we agreed not that we will not enter the commercial lending business in response to concerns raised by other private banks from antitrust perspective. So what we do is to invest our capital into multiple strategies. So just a little bit of my background. I joined Japan Post Bank in 2018, and before that, I used to work for Mitsubishi, which is a Japanese conglomerate company. So at Mitsubishi, I spent a lot of time for real asset investment, including aircraft leasing and infrastructure. And I was also involved in some strategic initiatives for technology investment activities. And at Japan Post Bank, I manage our venture capital LP investment practice and our global VC portfolio. So in our VC portfolio, the biggest exposure is in the US market, while China is the second biggest. And we also invest in a few select number of managers in India and Europe. And we also have another dedicated program for Japanese domestic VCs. So on to the main topics, I'd like to talk about two items. So one is about potential for the Japanese private equity market for foreign investors. And the other is about how I think overseas asset managers can help encourage Japanese asset owners to invest globally. So just Shiraki-san briefly mentioned, I think the Japanese private equity market has been growing, but not as much as expected. From my view, the Japanese economy is still third largest in the world, so I think the potential is huge. But one of the biggest challenges is that there has been an inherent negative impression against financial buyers. So private equity funds were often called vulture because people thought those funds were only looking to buy out distressed companies to restructure and make money out of them. So still, there are many business owners who think private equity firms as vulture. So buyout deal sourcing takes time because you need to build trust with such business owners. It is especially challenging for non-Japanese to navigate the complex local business culture. So at global private equity franchises in Japan like Bain and KKR, investment activities are led by local professionals. But despite those challenges, we are seeing growing interest from overseas private equity firms. Recently, Blackstone and Apple are building local teams, and I think it is very encouraging for the Japanese economy. And I believe there should be more investment opportunities given the size of the economy, and private equity would be a great catalyzer to develop the Japanese industries. So in order to accelerate the market expansion, I think it would be even more helpful if the government can work with the financial sector to change the negative perception toward financial buyers. So there will be more business owners willing to work with private equity managers to grow their businesses. And another challenge is that investment professionals are scarce in the market. As I alluded to, attractive investment opportunities are still limited, which is part of the reason for the scarcity. So I hope overseas managers will hire more local people and nurture them as investment professionals. I believe this is particularly important in light of leveraging the limited pool of young talents among the highly aging population in Japan. So in my view, the compensation structure of global investment management companies is sophisticated to align incentives of employees relative to traditional Japanese companies. Seniority still matters in those companies, and it will take a long time to change such organizations. So we need more professional firms which encourage talents to perform to their fullest potential with the right incentives. So the next theme I'd like to talk about is the challenges for the Japanese asset owners to build and manage global alternative investment portfolios. I can never emphasize enough that there are not so many investment professionals with a strong financial background and cross-border business experiences. In this regard, I think a local representative of an overseas asset management company to be critical to fill in the gap between Japanese asset owners and the global markets. Having more international asset managers based in Japan would be very helpful for potential clients to communicate and build understanding of your products. So with limited resources of individual pension funds and regional banks, it will be very challenging for them to go out to build relationships with investment managers. So I believe there will be a good potential for overseas asset managers to develop businesses with such asset owners by having a local team. So in summary, expectations to overseas asset managers are high, and I hope Tokyo will be an attractive home for more international players. So thank you so much for having me today.